In this video, I'm going to explain how the UseEffect cleanup works because this is a confused concept. Okay, for this example, I have this component. This is a save book form component, and this is very simple. It's part of a form. It has a label for a title. It's using a div to define the style, and this is the element that we are going to be focused, the input. Okay, it's going to get the characters when I type uh, different letters in this input. Okay, and I have a button, but we are not going to use that. We're going to be focused on this text. And now I'm going to show you how this component looks. Okay, we have the title here. This is the input box, and this is the button. Okay, and when I modify, or when I uh, we press a key, this information is sent to through this method. Okay, it is executed every time when I press a key, and this method takes the value of the character and it sets a specific variable. Okay, this variable, you can find this variable here. This is the variable, and this method just sets the value for this variable. Okay, and the UseEffect function is going to be executed when this book title variable is modified. I mean, every time I press the key, it is going to be modified, and the UseEffect function is going to be executed. And the UseEffect has as a parameter this this method, and in consequence, it is going to be executed, and it is going to show this message in console. This return statement is the cleanup, and it is going to be executed, but not in the current execution. It is going to be executed in the next execution. Okay, this concept can be a little confused, but if we try to see this in action using a graphic, we can see this. Okay, the UseEffect, well, we have 4 steps. I'm going to start with the number 1, the number 2, and number 3 are key pressed, and the number 4 is when I change the window, when I change the component. Now, this first step is executed after the first render. What does it mean? It's when let me see this, let me change here. I'm going to show the console. I'm going to clean this, and I'm going to refresh. Okay, as you can see, okay, this is the first render, and when it happens, we get this message. Okay, I have the same here. We have this is after the first render, this UseEffect is executed, and this function is executed, but only this line of code is executed for this for this function, the return statement is not executed. And for that reason, we get this message here, validated form. Okay. Now, if I press a key, a new execution is happening. Okay. And we have this cleanup, and we have this validated form. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing here. And we have a new execution, okay, of the same function. And when this new execution happens, it immediately triggers the return statement of the past execution. Okay, and for that reason, we see this cleanup, that this this message, this log, comes from the execution before the current execution. Okay, and this message comes from the current execution. Okay, that's what is happening here. Now, if I press another key, we are going to see a new cleanup and a new validating form. I do the same here, and the same thing is happening. Again, the return statement that is in the past execution is executed, and for that reason we have the cleanup message, and the validating form comes from the current execution. Now, what happened in the fourth step? Okay, when a component is removed, we only get the cleanup message. Okay, there is no another validating form under this message because the component was removed. Let's verify this. Okay, I have this menu here, this navigation menu, and I'm going to move to the home component, and we're going to get only the cleanup message here. Okay, as you can see, it was the result. Okay, as this graphic show you, that's what has happened. Now, what we can do with this behavior? Okay, I'm going to change to the code. As you can see, this line of code is going to be executed every time I press a new key. Okay, this UseEffect is going to be executed because every time I press a key, this book title is modified. And, well, it is not a good idea to do, because if you have something more complicated here, like a request to a specific server to validate something, it's going to make many requests, and that's is going to saturate the server. And a good idea is to execute this line of code or a specific process in the last keystroke. Okay, so I'm going to use a modification for this block of code. It's going to be this piece, and there are some modifications here. Okay, I'm using the same function here. Okay, console log leading form, but it is trapped into a set timeout function. This set timeout is going to wait for a certain amount of time. In this case, it has 500 milliseconds to execute this line of code. Okay, this function is returning an ID that is possible to use in the return function to cancel this execution. Talking about this inside this execution that is inside, and if we have enough time, or if we execute another process, I mean, if I press another key, this return is going to be executed and the process is going to be canceled. Okay, now let's see how this looks in the graphic. Okay, the graphic here. Okay, I have the same 4 steps here, and after the first render, the 500 milliseconds are reached, and this line of code is executed. Okay, I have the console window here, and this is the output validating the form. Okay, it was finally executed. Now, when I press the key, the new process is going to try to or it executes the return statement. But when it tries to do the clear timeout process, the process it was finished, because we see the result here, and there is no cancellation. Okay, now when I press the keystroke, when I press the key, another key, before 500 milliseconds, okay, it generates the new process that executes the return statement. And in this case, because the 500 milliseconds has not passed, it can cancel the process that is before the current process. In this case, this is the current process. Okay, and if I press another key before the 500 milliseconds, the next process is going to cancel, okay, the process before. Okay, I mean, in these steps, I'm typing, okay, a specific string. Let me show you what's happening. It's when I'm doing this, in this case. Okay, let me clear this. Let me return again, and I have 1, 2, and 3 keystrokes. Okay, I'm going to repeat the process. I have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we have in this case 2 cleanups in this case, and another cleanup. Maybe it was not enough faster with this. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we have 3 cancellations and 1 validating for message. Okay, in the same way is happening here. Okay, in the last keystroke, you can see when I stop typing, the 500 milliseconds was reached, and this validating form is executed. Okay, because we don't have another new execution that is that executed this return statement here. And for that reason, we have this output with 3 cleanup. You can see here 1, 2, and 3. And finally, we have the validating for message at the end when I stop typing, when I stop uh, doing the input in this text box. Okay. Well, I hope this video will be useful for you to understand this process. Thank you.